Okay, let's start with the peace chant. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shunayama Devaha Bhadram Pashve Maksha Dhirya Jatraha Sthirairanga is Tushtuvag Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Viddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarsho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspati'r dadhatu Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. All right, so we are studying Mundaka Upanishad. Now we are towards the end almost. And now the Upanishad is detailing some practices, moral virtues, moral practices. And also, it goes back and forth. It mentions the practices and again go back to the idea of what the reality is like, what the realization is like. So in our last class, we saw that the light of the divine light is experienced by yatayoho shina dosha. Yatayoho means the committed ones, those who are sincerely practicing, and shina dosha, those who have been purified, those who are pure, those who have conquered their inner obstacles or inner enemies. And how they have conquered their inner enemies? Through nityam, through continuous and consistent practice of truthfulness, sattva, then tapas. Tapas, do you remember the meaning of tapas? Do you remember what tapas means here? Go ahead, unmute and please.
Just practice of austerities?
That is the literal meaning, but in this context, in this mantra, tapas meant something else. Do you remember that?
Oh, so practicing the mind, holding the mind or the attention in the midst of distractions?
Yeah. It's good. Only, it was not a question, right? It was an answer, right? So you need not have put the question mark at the end. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So tapas means here exactly the capacity to hold attention even in the midst of distraction. Then samyak jnana. Samyak jnana means true knowledge or applying our viveka, the power of discernment, what is truth, what is not truth, what is true spirituality, what is not true spirituality. These are all samyak jnana. Samyak jnana also might mean jnana nishtha, that is conviction about the path. And brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means a disciplined life. So all of these practices help one to make the mind appropriate to receive the knowledge. Shino dosha. We gave an example that the spiritual truth is like a lamp which is placed in a house, and if we want the light to illumine everything in the house, then we have to declutter the house. Right? If there is too much of dirt and clutter, then the light cannot go to every nook and corner. Similarly, the light of divinity is shining within, in the nihitaṃ guhāyām, in the cave of our heart. But to make it shine through, we have to declutter the room. And those who can declutter their rooms have been termed as yatayoho shino doshaha, people who have a organized and clean, decluttered house. And how they decluttered? They decluttered with these practices: truthfulness, ability to concentrate, then a disciplined life, a conviction on the path. Okay. Next mantra is more about the importance of truth. Importance of truth. So this next mantra says that truth alone triumphs, not falsehood. And through truth alone is one can, the path of divinity is laid through truth. The sages, seers, who are fulfilled, who are content, they take the path of truth and go to the place which is the highest reward of truth. That is the next month. So what is the highest reward for following truth? That will be explained in the following month. So two mantras, 3.1.6, 6 or what? 3.1.6 is about truth, and 3.1.7 is about the highest reward of truth. Okay, so let's look at them. Praise for truthfulness. Okay. Satyam eva jayate na anṛtam. Satyena panthā vitataḥ devayānaḥ. Yena ākramanti ṛṣayaḥ hi āptakāmāḥ. Yatra tat satyasya paramam nidhānam. Truth alone triumphs, not falsehood. Through truth, the path to the divine realms is spread out. It is by this path that the sages who are fulfilled ascend to that ultimate treasure of truth. So, we shall break it down. First is satyam eva jayate. This is incidentally, as I mentioned in my last class, the national motto of India. Satyam eva jayate. If a national currency, national coins, and wherever there is a national emblem, below this, you will find this motto, Satyam eva jayate. Truth alone triumphs, na anṛtam. Anṛtam means untruth. Untruth does not. So here we have to think about in a long-term basis. That is, apparently sometimes it may appear that untruth triumphs. People holding to untruth, they appear to be winning. And those who are on the side of the truth, they maybe appear to be losing. It may appear several times, and history also has proved that. But in the long term, ultimately, truth alone wins. So ultimate win is by truth. In a short-term measure, it might sometimes frustrate us to see that even untruth is winning. Falsity is winning. For example, nowadays, so much of disinformation, misinformation, fake news, and get ready for more as we get AI into full operational. So what might happen exactly, just like me, someone might be giving a Mundaka Upanishad class with the help of AI, and I may not know at all. I may not know. I am out of sight, out of place, but just like me, they can create in AI. They only need one of my pictures and some 20 seconds of my voice, which is available in YouTube. And they can make, and when I say mine, it is also all of you, all of you. Okay. So it will get even messier, information, disinformation. So what will happen very soon, most of the things in the internet will not be dependable. Okay, this is the first time in the history that will be bombarded with data and information, but most of them cannot be trusted. So we shall be more skeptic of believing anything. So then truth alone will win in the long term. Truth alone will win. So we have to remember that. So fake news and disinformation, information, all of this. And also the fact that disinformation, misinformation, these get more views, because truth as such is boring. Truth is boring. But if we throw truth out of the window, we can create content which are very, very exciting and enticing. So they might get millions of views. Okay. We have to remember that ultimately truth will win, not number of views or number of likes. So much it is true for spiritual life too. It is not only a moral virtue, but also a spiritual virtue. That is why the next part of the mantra says, satyena panthā vitataḥ devayānaḥ. The path to the divine is built on truths. The path to the divine is built on truth. If you remember, during Kena Upanishad also, we came across this idea of truth, the power of truth. And then we came across this expression that Brahman is truth. Brahman is truth. The highest reality is truth. So it is philosophically, metaphysically, it is true that Brahman is the highest reality. It is truth. So if I want to reach truth, which is the truth of all truths, falsity cannot be the path. It is just pure common sense. We cannot reach truth through falsity. Okay. If we want to build a castle of bricks, we have to put all the bricks in place. We cannot cheat and in place of brick, put something else, something cheaper. In that case, the palace would not be called a palace of bricks, right? So it will be cheated. In the same way, the spiritual life, the path to the divine is built on truths, Why so much of emphasis on truth? Several ways. For example, if we tell lies, unnecessarily lies, and then our mind is disturbed, first of all. With that kind of mind, no spiritual practice is possible. A part of the mind, there will be always something, giving us trouble. This trouble may not be manifest. We may not know what this uncomfort or discomfort is coming from. But this discomfort is coming from not living an authentic life or not living a truthful life. Okay. That is one reason why truth is so important in spiritual life. Second is, as I said, the Brahman is the reality which is truth. So path should be also truth. More importantly, I think why truth is important in another context. In the spiritual path, the spectrum, we belong to different points in the spectrum. There is no denying to the fact. No denying to the fact that there are millions of spiritual seekers, but all are not at the same level of their progress. And if we are not honest about where we are standing in our spiritual progress, then what we are doing is self-deception. Self-deception. We are thinking that we are so spiritual, we are so holy. We are holier than thou, the concept, which is extremely the biggest obstacle in spiritual life. After some progress, we think that we are so holy. And we are holy, it is not a problem. Holier than thou. I am more enlightened than you. This idea, why it is problematic? The problem is here. If we are thinking we are spiritually advanced, but we are not, then all possibility of progress is stopped there. Is not it? Unless I know that I have way more to go, then how can I take the journey? If I am believing, no, I have reached, I am almost there, which I am not, then there is no possibility of progress. And that happens, that is quite a, unfortunately, that is quite common. Thinking ourselves that we are very sattvic, others are rajasic, tamasic, and applying all the measurement of spiritual progress to others' life, not to us, because we think, oh, we are fine. And this is, however, it is very fundamental to our existence to deceive ourselves. In my last class, we mentioned about that psychology paper about spiritual narcissism. So they find why we become sometimes spiritually narcissistic and claiming progress which we have not made, because ego, we have always a urge to see ourselves in a brighter light. This is called ego defense mechanism. That is, these spiritual ideals, goals are high, very high, and we are not up to that. This distance between what we are trying to achieve and what we are is painful to accept. Very painful to accept. So what we do, it is unconscious process though. It is not a conscious process. That's why it becomes so difficult to beat. That to see ourselves in a good light, we transcend ourselves to a area, to a level which we are not. Okay. So we need, that's why, very thorough self-reflection very often, that where we stand in our spiritual path. And many people, it has been found that many spiritual seekers, in the garb of spirituality, what they are doing actually, enhancing their ego. Ego enhancement. It is called spiritual narcissism. And so if we are not truthful about it, it is a deception, it is untruth, and all the possibilities of progress is stopped there as soon as we are being untruthful about our spiritual state, where we belong. Okay. For example, psychologically speaking, they measure the spiritual growth in terms of how much unselfish we have become, how much other-oriented we have become, or how much self-focused we are. If we are all the time focusing on self, if I am thinking that I am at the center of the universe, everything is important if it is related to me, or it has some purpose to serve for me. These are the role of a loud ego. Okay. So quieten the ego. They say quiet ego is a measurement of our spiritual progress. Okay. Quiet ego. So that's why so much it is important. And it says that yena ākramanti vishayohi āptakāmāḥ. So the sages, seers who are āptakāmāḥ, that is, they are content, ever content. So these are sages who are our role models, seers who are fulfilled. Why fulfilled? They have reached their spiritual goal. They ākramanti, they travel through the path of truth. Yena ākramanti vishayohi āptakāmāḥ. The self-fulfilled, the content sages, they take the path of truth so that they reach satyasya paramam nidhānam, the highest reward for following the truth. The reward for following the truth is spiritual enlightenment. They reach there. So this has been mentioned, this as an inspiration, or to serve as role models, that the sages who are fulfilled, that is a serene sage. Imagine a serene sage who is very content, very fulfilled. They have reached their spiritual goal and they have followed the path of truth. And so they have reached to the highest promise, highest reward of truth. What is that highest reward? That is spoken of in the next verse. We shall take up that verse. Before that, if you want to comment on this verse, please go ahead. Untruthfulness.
Swami,
Okay, just a minute. Before I'm sorry. I wanted to share with you something. Okay, just a minute. A Tibetan Buddhist, he wrote a book called Spiritual Materialism, cutting through spiritual materialism. Tibetan Buddhist spiritual leader. He wrote, as you can see, walking the spiritual path properly is a very subtle process. It is not something to jump into naively. There are numerous side tracks which lead to a distorted, ego-centered version of spirituality. We can deceive ourselves into thinking we are developing spirituality when instead we are strengthening our egocentricity through spiritual techniques. This is extremely important. Why? Because I have seen in my life, people claiming or thinking they are highly spiritual, but full of ego. And that's why there is a rule of thumb in our organization. How to judge someone's spiritual progress. They say, can they work in a team? How well one can go along with others? How good can they work in a team? Can they be a good team member, or full of ego, or own interests? So in Belur Math, our headquarters, there is a saying, "Oh, you are spiritually advanced. Okay, Do some work, then let's see. Okay, do some work, perform some work, then we shall see all the sharp corners of our ego then come out when we work together. When we work together, that is a very good judgment of our ego. And this ego, how egoistic we are, is a very good measurement of our spiritual progress. And this is universal. Well, you take any real spiritual aspirant from any of the paths, the one thing they will agree to is that the main function of spirituality is to decrease our ego. That is, our ego will be mature. We will be equally interested in our own growth as well as others' interest. Yes, Gunamai, go ahead.
I just wanted to add on the flip side of this spiritual narcissism that one can also consider oneself not holier than thou, but less than. And that's equally a trap, that self-deprecating, that always looking at oneself not realistically, not honestly. And then also the, being other-centered. Sometimes being other-centered, it can appear that way, and there can be other emotional issues involved, wanting to control others, wanting to.
Yeah.
So yes. So I guess the main point is what you said. This self-reflection.
Yeah.
Honest.
True. Very fact. Many people come to charity to enhance their ego. Many think, this, I am helping others. People are dependent on me. That helps them to see their ego in a better light. It is not out of compassion or empathy or feeling that they are suffering the way I don't want to suffer. They are suffering. That's why I should help. But some people, and there is a saying that ego is such a fellow that it can take any good thing and use it to its own enhancement. So charity, helpfulness, spirituality, meditation, yoga, all practices, these are good. These are ultimately meant to quiet the ego, make us realistic about ourselves. But ego can hijack all of this, even charity, for its enhancement. Such is the inscrutable power of ego.
Swami, I've
Yes.
also noticed that amazingly, even if a person that has a big ego is like teaching me, I still can learn something from them. It like the divine being allows us to learn even when the teaching is not perfect.
Yeah.
So we may not learn all things or as much as we could, but I still can pick out the things that are good and that I want to take from that teacher. So
yeah, true.
There's a saying in the 12-step movement that ego stands for edging God out. Ego edging God out.
Right. True. Yeah, that is our take. Even from an egoistic person, we can learn. That is, of course, a good quality. But at the same time, why truthfulness is important in spiritual life, so that we be realistic about our spiritual progress. Yeah, true. That's why I was thinking that why this word āptakāmāḥ, the sages who are self-fulfilled, this word has been, I think, has a deeper meaning. Why this word has been said. So the real spiritual teacher or sages, one quality will be that they don't want anything from the teaching. Okay. that you follow me, or I am a role model for you, or no other benefit they are seeking. Okay, that is, and that's why they are truthful about it. So they are worth following because they follow truth, not for any other purpose. They are already fulfilled. They are already fulfilled, and they are following the truth. So that means that is the right path. That is the right path for us also to follow. Okay. That is why I was thinking why the self-fulfilled sage, this expression has been used. Self-fulfilled sage.
Maharaj,
That is, they are practicing truthfulness not to show to others, but they are practicing truthfulness because it is the right thing to do. Right thing to do.
so Maharaj, there are some sacrifices to be made when you really stick to truth, because you, in this life, when you go through situations that
Yeah,
you see
yeah,
that all the time,
yeah,
in workplace, in
yeah.
in doing your
True.
taxes, If
Yeah,
you're absolutely truthful, you have to sacrifice for it.
yeah,
You know the story of Raja Harishchandra, in the Puranas, how much he had to suffer.
yeah. No, so that's why in our last class we discussed about avoidable truth, unavoidable truth, So many of our lies or exaggerated truth are avoidable. We could avoid them. Okay, we can avoid them. So more we practice that kind of not telling avoidable lies, the more strength we get, the more authentic we become, and then it's a practice which brings more practice, more practice. So that is so much important, the truthfulness. Okay, now again, Arundhati, you want to say something?
Yes, Maharaj. I wanted to ask, what is the difference between satyam and anṛtam?
Satyam and anṛtam. Satyam is a more profound way of thinking what is true. Okay, it is a principle. It is a more metaphysical concept. Okay, and anṛtam is the rules and laws which are holding the universe. Okay, so anṛtam are based on satyam, but thing is, anṛtams are lower order truths. For example, what is legal now? What is the law now is anṛtam. Okay, we should behave like this because this is the anṛtam. This is the law of the land. But law of the land changes. In context to context, it might change. What are the laws? What are the principles? Apatkalin dharma. When we are in danger, then there is no dharma. then the main thing is to save ourselves. But satyam means even at that time we are following anṛtam. What are the laws at that time? From the perspective of truth, it is not right thing we are doing. Okay, so satyam is, you may say, more paramarthika level. Okay, more absolute, and anṛtam is more transactional truths. Okay, transactional truths. So in Upanishad, anṛtam has been used most of the times when they are mentioning about the laws of nature. Laws of nature. So for example, the earth is moving around the sun. It is anṛtam. It is a truth because of which our life is sustained. Okay. But it is not the ultimate level of truth. It is a transactional truth.
Swami, could I add one more comment?
Yeah.
I think because I'm thinking of Shelley because I don't see her here. the idea of intention when you're examining what your true motives are in terms of the truthfulness, and when you're deceiving yourself, really examining one's motives. I think she would say that, what did Buddha say? Like the word for motivation, true intent, or there was some truth that he said about your intention, right intention.
Yeah, you're
I think,
right.
yeah, I just thought of that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Can we move on to the next verse? The next verse is about what this verse ended with, that the highest reward or highest treasure offered by truth. What is that highest treasure? Before that, I would like to also say that there is an alternative interpretation of this part, which has been followed almost in every book, that satyena panthā vitato devayānaḥ. Devayānaḥ is one path of exit. If you remember, after death, we can take pitriyana and devayānaḥ. Devayānaḥ is the path of gradual liberation, ākramanti, So not instant liberation, but it is like moving through different spheres of higher and higher existence and ultimately getting liberated. That also means devayānaḥ. So even Shankaracharya has interpreted this as truth. Truth takes us to the path of devayānaḥ. Okay, but I did not like that interpretation. I took it devayānaḥ as path to the divine. Okay, divine path, because in the context here, Upanishad was always uncompromising about realizing the truth here in this life. Suddenly, the bringing a gradual liberation, it did not feel good did not feel right for me. Okay, so I would rather took it devayānaḥ as the path to the divine. Path to the divine is built by blocks of truth. Okay, this is how he interpreted this. So next verse is, what is this highest truth? What is the promise of truth? Okay, it's a description of the highest truth, highest reality. Bṛhat cha tat divyam acintyarūpam sūkṣmāt cha tat sūkṣmataraṃ vibhāti dūrāt sudūre tat antike cha paśyatsu eva nihitaṃ guhāyām. That reality is vast and divine, with an inconceivable form. It appears to be subtler than the subtlest. Though it appears to be far, it is also very near. It is indeed hidden here in the cave of the heart of each sentient being. So that reality, that is, if we follow the path of truth, okay, then what happens is we realize the reality, which is bṛhat. Bṛhat means vast, which is the root of the word Brahman. Brahman means which is vast. So vast that we cannot conceive about it. It is so vast. It is not only vast, only expansive is not only thing. Divyam. Divyam means it is sacred. It is transcendent, sacred, otherworldly, totally. A sense of sacred. So, scientists, psychologists, philosophers, religious people, if you ask all of them that what is the definition of religion or spirituality, what is the universal definition of spirituality, they would say that something which is sacred. Sacred, okay. A sense of sacred is what religion is. Sacred. So it is not only vast, it is also sacred. And acintyarūpam, that is inconceivable. We cannot imagine what it is like. It is indeed so, because we cannot imagine infinite. We cannot imagine, we just say it is infinite. It is all pervading. But can we really imagine? No, we cannot grasp. For example, if we are told $1 billion, do we really understand what is $1 billion? It is just an abstract concept for us, because we have not handled $1 billion. It is all a figure for us. Okay, that's why it's acintyarūpam. It is beyond any conception. And it is sūkṣmāt sūkṣmataraṃ. It is smaller than the smallest, or subtler than the subtlest. Why it is subtler than the subtlest? What do you think?
Because it is all pervading, it's vast.
All pervading. That has been covered by bṛhat. Okay.
Maharaj, subtle things which are expressed or prakash comes through indriyas.
Yeah.
But this is beyond indriya, which controls the indriya. The indriyas get the light and the power from this reality.
Right. So it cannot be grasped. It is immaterial. It cannot be grasped. It cannot be perceived through the sense organs. That's why it is subtle, subtler than the subtle. And another way of looking at it is, which is very recent theory in Scientific American, they brought, Purni also sent me the same link, that they are really now thinking that consciousness is more fundamental, more subtle than quantum fields. Quantum field is so subtle. It is, even no microscope can perceive quantum field. It is an idea, but which has empirical counterpart. So people just have this idea that it is a very subtle something. But one new theory has come, that consciousness, at least in the brain, exists as quantum fields, or even subtler than quantum fields. In that way also we can interpret. But I think what Upanishad is trying to say, when subtler than the subtlest, means cannot be grasped by the sense organs. Okay, so it is subtle, so subtle. And vibhāti means it is also shining. So it is not only it is vast, but it is sacred, as well as it is vibhāti. It is shining. It is shining, bright, and it is subtler than the subtlest, beyond the sense perceptions. It is again dūrāt sudūre. It is farther than the farthest. Farther than the farthest, but iha antike cha. It is again the most intimate, very near. It is farther than the farthest, nearer than the nearest. Okay, so now I leave the explanation to you. Come out, because you remember Isha Upanishad? Same idea was there. Tat ejati, tat na ejati. Tat dūre, tat antike cha. Same idea. Now can you pull out it from your memory? Why it is being told? It is farther than the farthest and nearer than the nearest. One clue is two interpretations. Both are correct. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
So for the enlightened ones, it is the nearest,
Yeah,
and for the struggling, it is far.
hard. Yeah, and Anna gave the other answer in chat box. It is all pervading. There is nowhere it is not. So if something is farther than the farthest, but also nearer than the nearest, it means it is everywhere. It is everywhere. And the other interpretation is it is far away for people who are materialistic, or even those who don't have any idea of spirituality, and those who are unenlightened. I mean, for all of us are unenlightened, but still, if we are progressing towards it, and for some people it is totally an abstract thing and worthless. There's nothing like this, so it is really far, far away for them. But to an illumined person, it is here, right here. Where? Right here. Iho iba nihitaṃ guhāyām. It is hidden in the cavity of the heart. So it is hidden not in the sense of it is very secretive, but hidden in the sense of what? Why is it hidden? Quantum biology.
Through Maya,
Huh?
through ignorance,
Yeah,
by
exactly.
ignorance.
Yeah, it is hidden because of our non-recognition of. That's why it is hidden. It is right here, but hidden. What is hiding it? Hiding is our non-recognition, which the technical name is avidya, maya, ajnana, all of this. Again, one thing we have to remember, the question might come that, well, then avidya or ignorance or non-recognition, is it so powerful that it can hide powerful reality? Is not it? If it is vast, it is sacred, it is shining, it is everywhere, such a powerful reality, and such a thing, non-recognition, maya, it can hide it. That means it is so powerful. So the maya is as powerful as then Brahman. What do you think about it?
Maharaj, it is not hiding the supreme reality. It is hiding it is the avaran in front of our eyes,
Yeah.
for the jivas.
Right.
This ignorance is for the jivas.
Exactly. Very good answer. Yeah. It is not, like if I am not able to see the sun because I have my book in front of my eyes, it does not mean the book is bigger than the sun. Okay. It means only the book is big enough to cover my vision. Okay, my vision. And that is why they give also the example of a cloud, a piece of cloud can hide such mighty thing called sun. As such, there are no comparison between their size, but proximity makes it appear that the cloud is as bigger than the sun. And in our case, it is hiding our vision. So it is big enough to cover our vision from that reality. Of course, these should not be taken so literally. These are just examples. Okay. So it is hidden in the guhāyām. But whose cavity? Paśyatsu. That is in the cavity of every living being. In the heart of every sentient being, this reality is hidden. This reality is hidden in the guhāyām, in the cavity of the heart. This reality which is vast as well as sacred, which is subtler than the subtlest, and which is shining. Okay. That is the highest reward, this reality, for following the truth. Following the truth. That is the highest reward of truth. Okay. Next is this highest reality. Yes, come to this highest reality can be, how can we perceive it? This next verse introduces a concept which is very new and very unique. The idea of jnana prasada. Jnana prasada. Jnana prasada means by the grace of our mind. This can be realized by the grace of our mind, our grace of our own mind, grace of our own intellect. Purity of our intellect is needed to grasp this reality. That we shall take up in our next class. Okay? Jnana prasad. A very wonderful concept. Among the Vaishnava followers, they have a saying that Guru, Krishna, Vaishnav, তিনের দয়া হলো, একের দয়া বিনে জীব ছাড়ে খাড়ে গেল. In Bengali, it means one seeker has got the blessings of God, blessing of the Guru, and blessings of the fellow seekers. But if the grace of mind is absent, then all of the other graces, they cannot do anything. Okay. And the same idea we find in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, that uddharet atmana atmanam anatmanam avasadayet atma eva atmanah bandhu ripuhu eva atmaha atmanah. Your own self can be your best friend. Your own self can be your worst enemy. And if you want to succeed in spiritual life, befriend your own self. That is, befriend means here have the grace of our own self, which is so important. We shall take up the idea. Interestingly, I was reading something yesterday, and I came up with the idea about a book, the name of a book, Curse of the Self. Curse of the Self. And have you heard of the name Curse of the Self by Mark Leary? So it is from the standpoint of psychology and neurology, that our own, and the thesis of the book is this: our own self can be our best ally and worst enemy. In what sense? That self-reflection, which among all the animals, we are uniquely having this capacity of self-reflection. And because of that, we can progress, we can improve ourselves, we can have growth, achievement, progress, everything. But again, this capacity to self-reflect is what lies behind our rumination, our worry about future. So it is a double-edged sword. It can be a friend if it is utilized properly for our growth, but the same self-reflection capacity can make us worried, can make us depressed, can make us ruminating about our past. Okay, so I immediately ordered the book, because I thought this book is probably the explanation of Bhagavad Gita 6.6. Your own mind can be your best friend, and your own mind can be your worst enemy. So and of course I went through the chapters, a cursory look, and the final conclusion is to make this self-reflection capacity in our favor. The most important thing, as a scientist, he is recommending meditation. Meditation, meditation and other some spiritual practices. He is personally an atheist, but that is what he has understanding he has come to. So the book I am yet to get, but I am waiting for that book. Okay, Purni, please go ahead.
Maybe this next verse will be the answer for what I was thinking. But when you had said that the avarana is covering the sun,
Yeah.
Without getting to that point, is it because we believe that is the case because others have experienced it, or is it by definition?
Say that again.
When you say in that last verse, when you were giving the explanation that it is because of avidya, and in fact, it is not that, like when you gave the example of the sun being covered by a book or whatever, because it doesn't mean that the book is bigger than the sun or Maya is greater than, when you're comparing Maya to Brahman, is that because people who are not deluded or who can get past Maya have seen it, experienced it, and stated that?
Exactly.
Or is it just by definition? Because in a sense, this is all a paradigm, right?
Yeah, it's a paradigm. And also, had it been Maya been as powerful as Brahman, then no one could break it through. Okay, no one could break it through. So rationally, philosophically speaking, if it had been as powerful as the reality itself, so we could not break it through, right? And also empirically, so it is sure that many people have experienced that reality. That means it can be pierced through. It can be, the veil can be removed, right? Yeah, and of course, our practices are making holes, tiny holes in that curtain for sure. Yeah.
Maharaj, since Maya is actually a power, divine power of the divine, right? Devi Esha Gunamayi.
Yes.
Gunamayi Maya.
Dūrāt, yeah.
Yeah. So it is not only is dependent on Brahman, it's actually power of Brahman that it can cover.
Yeah, exactly. Devi and Dūrāt, it is very difficult to cross over, but it does not mean it is impossible.
Yeah, he says also, Mameva prapadyante.
So Mameva prapadyante here, not necessarily Mam means Krishna as God.
Right.
Mam means, that divine reality. That one who surrenders to that divine reality. And here surrender also might mean many things. Like recourse,ing the path of spirituality itself is surrendering to that reality, right? So they eventually can cross over this Maya, which is difficult to cross. Why difficult to cross? Because of these things. Because nothing, I think Maya sometimes in the terms of the biases we have. Biases. We know that we have these biases, but still we cannot do anything about these biases. For example, like all of us feel that we are better than average, right? It is a great bias. All of us here think that we are better driver than the rest of the people, most average of the people. So it cannot be. If everybody thinks they are better driver than average driver, so think about it. It is impossible. Why it is so? It is a bias. It is called seeing self-positivity bias. And not only that, we see our faults in a very lighter way. And we see our qualities in a much exaggerated way. And we do the opposite for others. Others' qualities we don't see in a great light, but others' faults we see in a much exaggerated way. These are biases. These are biases so ingrained in us. So Maya works through this kind of biases. Okay, that's why Durataya is so difficult to conquer, but not impossible. Not impossible. Yes, Rick.
Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So to follow what Subhash said,
Yeah.
So my thinking about Brahm is it's the field of play. If you want to have a relative activity, you need a field to play it on.
Right. Right.
So does then Maya emerge from Brahm as an activity? Now, if you still have to play on the field,
yeah,
still need to be aware of the field.
Right.
Which
right.
also leads me to wonder, when we talk about truth and lie, I heard somewhere that truth is different in different states of consciousness. So for a man who knows the absolute, he's in that truth. But for a man who is trapped in Maya, he knows that truth. So which one lies? Both are expressing their consciousness.
Yeah.
So does Maya emerge from Brahm as one of the activities?
Yeah, exactly. It is a very thorny question. Okay. It's a very thorny question. Where Maya, how did Maya come? And where does it reside? And it is so thorny. So non-dual Vedanta says that Maya is anirvachaniya. It cannot be expressed what it is. Okay. Whether it exists or it does not exist. Why? Because for us, it really exists. That is why we are not able to perceive the reality. But the moment we are illumined, it is no longer there. Okay. So it's no longer any, we are under the power of Maya. It is, everything is clear now. So very, very thorny question, and a lot of books and this and text have been written about where does Maya reside and where it originates from, If you remember Mandukya, Mandiko Karika, you remember Gaudapada's take on Maya? The question was this creation, that is, creation is the effect of Maya. Where does it reside? So Gaudapada said very interestingly that it is like a shadow of the Brahman. So shadow is, it will follow us wherever we go. But can we count how many people have come? I count myself and also the shadow. Shadow has come with me. But it is there. It is there. Just like that, this is very, it cannot be really answered. Frankly speaking, there are thousands of hours of videos and lectures and books about Maya and its origin. But Swami Vivekananda was very truthful about it. He said, we cannot know. We cannot say anything about Maya. It is a reality, that it is reality in the sense that it is there. It is there because of which the reality which is so near is appearing to be so far. Okay, so we cannot say anything about Maya, where it came from. Okay. Yes. So Rick, did I confuse you more or what?
Am I still up?
Yeah, you are still up, but
no, it doesn't confuse me more. I don't think I could be more confused.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
But you know, a long time ago in my first class with you, you gave us the evolution.
Yeah. Right.
From the absolute through the various names and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the way I see it, and I think that there are words in the Veda that are similar, but I like there's a Christian concept where they say two things. In one place, they say a peace that surpasses understanding.
Yeah, peace.
The peace that surpasses, and also they say, and it is veiled to us.
Yeah.
So Maya is the veil.
Yeah.
Maya is the veil. It's relative. It's manifest.
Yeah.
And the ignorance is the failure to see. It's just like if you want to play something.
Yeah.
Something to have the rules.
Yeah. Follow the rules. Yeah. But ultimately, it's a game.
Anyway, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, Jinaji, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I heard it said that it's a wrong question to ask because it has no cause, so we cannot have a because. I've heard one explanation.
Yeah.
It is not the right question to ask the origin of something that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah, someone told it like this, that I don't know German. Okay?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So since when I don't know German? Yeah. Since when? This nature of Maya is not knowing. Okay. So which is blinding us from something. So since when? Since when I don't know German?
That's
yeah. But it's an analogy though. Yeah. That analogy also has flaws in it, but it kind of serves some purpose here. Yeah.
But we do know it.
Yeah. Yeah, we do know what we know.
We know Maya.
Yeah.
We know it. We live it. You know, it's every day. What we are not aware of, in a clear way, is that Turiya, the fourth state. But we are aware of the other states. We live those other states, but we are not aware of Turiya, which is beyond the veil, which is beyond the veil, veil of relativity.
Yeah.
You know, somebody said to me once, "Oh, you don't believe it's real? Step in front of that bus and see what happens." So it's as real as that.
Yeah. True. That's why you know the word in Sanskrit is anirvachaniyam. Anirvachaniyam, sad asadhyam, which is missed out. Sad asadhyam, whether Maya exists or not, it cannot be said like that. There is no other thing which exists one moment and completely vanishes another moment. Maya is something like okay. Sad asadhyam, anirvachaniyam. All right, so much. So next day we shall take up the verse about Jnana Prasad and maybe one or two more.
Maharaj, how do you pronounce sad asad bhyam?
Sad asad bhyam. Asad bhyam, you know, that is it's plural. Sad asad bhyam. Not a bhyam.
VHYAM, vyam?
Yeah, vyam. BHYAM. Yeah. Sat asad vyam anirvachaniyam. All right. Okay, then we conclude the class. Okay, and see you next week, next Friday. Let's say Shanti, Shanti, Shanti together. Okay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.